the men's basketball account post that game-winning buzzer beater that Malachi had. Just talk about working with them so far. Obviously, you're not full go, but just that moment working with them.
For sure. I've been enjoying being able to be at the practice, see the energy, see how the guys are, forming up, and it's been a great environment so far. I've been really enjoying working with and getting to know all the people here.
And how cool was it getting those Kobe finishes?
Oh, yeah, we needed those. That's what winners get. I'll take it.
Obviously, people have been asking you every day, every month since the injury, but, how are you feeling physically, mentally? How's the knee holding up as you continue through the summer?
Yeah, I've been feeling great. I've been progressing pretty well. I've been trusting the trainers and the coaches to try and get me right. Mentally, I've just been kind of focusing on the next step and kind of also focusing on the moment. And yeah, I've been feeling really good.
And not to, talk too much about a bad moment, but walk us back to kind of how it happened, what was going through your mind, and then how much you've kind of grown from there.
Yeah, well, it happened when we were playing against Kansas State, I believe, February 23rd. Was kind of loaded up for a dunk. I got pushed a little bit in the back, and my knee collapsed in. In the moment, I didn't really think too much of it. I was just trying to, get back in the game. But, obviously I did end up tearing it. But I never really was too down because I know, again, that was late in the season. I'd have a lot of time to recover, and dwelling on things doesn't really help you get better. I was always focused on the next step and trying to build myself and see what I could do to get better faster. So it was never really too down for me.
And it's pretty obvious what that next step will be for you. How have you seen Coach Pope, the players, kind of help you get prepared for that next level so far, even though you're just 50% or whatever?
Well, for sure. I haven't been able to do all the reps that everybody else has been able to do, obviously, but I've been watching, observing, taking notes, learning the plays, learning the actions, and just kind of getting adapted to the play style, getting adapted to the way the coaches think, and I feel like that's going to prepare me really well for when I am able to go 100% and help contribute on the floor.
I know it's still a few months away, but do you feel like you're on schedule to maybe start at the beginning of the season? Will it be a bit later? Do you have any kind of idea what your timetable might be?
It's really just trusting the trainers and coaches to try and get me back at 100%. They really are invested in my future and what I could do to help here, and they don't want to rush me to get back before I'm ready, so just trusting them all the way through.
You talked a little bit about Malachi and working with some of the guys. Obviously, whenever you get back, very big time player, Brandon Garrison, penciled in starter, played a lot of minutes last year. Malachi's obviously a 5-star McDonald's All-American. So kind of talk a little bit how nice and how good can this front court be, these big men, whether it be blocking shots, scoring on offense and stuff like that.
For sure. Well, BG has already been really well adapted to the offense, and I've been able to see how he's able to go at everybody during practice. I'm really excited to see what we can do. I got to play against Malachi since I was in 6th grade, so I've been really familiar with him, seeing him at all the All-American events and things like that. So I'm really excited for what we could be. I feel like Coach Pope is going to bring the best out of us, show all the versatility that we have, and have a higher impact on the game, play a little faster. So I feel like we're going to have a really good front court this year. It's going to be very
Last year the team struggled a bit with defense. The offense was good, shot a lot of threes and stuff like that, but couldn't get stops against teams like Alabama and stuff like that. But when we talked with Mo and Denzel a couple weeks back, they were saying this team's defense is going to be really good. Guys like you blocking shots in the back, but also guys like Otega, Muhammad, Denzel on the ball. So how good, honestly, could this team be defensively?
I feel like we could be one of the best defensive teams in the country. We have a really long team. We have a lot of height and length on our team, and everybody's buying in. Everybody's committing. We have people pushing full court, guarding full court. We have people in the backcourt, in gaps, in help, in rotation. So I feel like we have a really good chance to be special this year defensively.
You spoke about Brandon and Malachi a second ago. You've obviously had a bit of a unique perspective, just kind of watching on the side a bit more when they've gone through summer practice and stuff so far. What's impressed you the most about those two guys? What elements of their game or their personality have you maybe even already started to absorb since you've been here?
Just their motor and their kind of aggressiveness on offense and defense, just wanting to be there and having an impact on every possession. I feel like that's the biggest thing I've been picking up on so far.
Jayden, you had the unique opportunity to be committed or to talk to Kentucky once and then twice again with Mark Pope. So what was that selling point? Because I feel like most people were kind of shocked when you committed.
Mm-hmm. Well, just they kind of had their team set up. I got to see what it looked like, get to trust in Coach Pope's offense, see how I could fit into that better. And I feel like the squad that we have here has a really good chance to win a national championship. And obviously we weren't as competitive as I would have liked to be last year. So I feel like we have a chance to do something really special here, and I feel like I have a chance to flourish in offensively and defensively here. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we're going to have a really interesting year and hopefully get to number 9. That's the goal.
What jumped out to you? I mean, I'm sure I don't know if you were watching Kentucky games last year because you were busy, but just watching film and kind of understanding how Coach Pope likes to run offense, defense, all that stuff. What just jumped out to you and made you feel comfortable with the decision to come commit here?
Just the freedom and space they play with. Like, they play fast and they play with space, which is, you know, like an NBA type of play style, and it's been working really well for them. They got to the Sweet 16 last year. They've been putting up 100 points in multiple games, which is really hard to do in college. So Coach Pope has a really effective offensive scheme, and I feel like if everybody buys in, we could be really special with it.
Watching that kind of film, was there anyone from, obviously you're a unique player in your own right, but watching film from last year's team, was there anyone that you kind of imagined like, oh, I could slot into this guy's role from last year, emulate what this player from last year's team did in your first season at Kentucky?
Yeah, they've been showing me a lot of film on, you know, BG, just kind of how he's able to space the floor, be outside the three-point line, catch and shoot shots, make passes, things of that nature. I feel like he showed me a lot of that.
How are you guys bonding as a team? Are there some activities that you're doing that kind of stand out to you?
Well, you know, we went bowling last week. We've been doing a lot of, you know, team bonding stuff. We've been staying together at the lodge. I feel like everybody here likes each other. We've been in the locker room talking. We've been doing the running stuff, which kind of helps us, you know, buy in together. So I feel like everybody's making a conscious effort to try and get to know each other and be a part of the team. And I feel like that's going to help set us apart.
We've heard a bit about this Pop-A-Shot game. Could you give us a rundown of what's happening with that?
All right, so in the lodge, we have a little, it's like the arcade, you know, the little arcade basketball machine? They have a little mini hoop, and everybody's been trying to get the highest score on that. I think right now I think Braden has the highest score right now, but Mo's been really good. It's just been really competitive. We have a lot of competitors on this team, and I feel like, you know, again, with the bonding, I feel like that's been a big part of just trying to connect with each other, and doing things like that is gonna show up on the court for sure.
Yeah, where are you on the list?
Where am I on the list? I got some wins. Don't sleep. I've been hitting shots. We've been building. I'm competitive still.
Obviously, you've been a guy who's been on mock drafts for years now, but in one of the latest ones, Cam was on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Otega and stuff like that, we expect to be there too, but talk a little bit about what Cam could potentially do in 1 season, 2 seasons here at Kentucky before maybe playing in the NBA.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to surprise a lot of people. You know, 6'7", really athletic, can get downhill, get on the rim, really good shooter, like a really consistent, high arc shooter. So I feel like he has all the tools, offensively and defensively, that he needs to get where he wants to go, and I feel like he's going to surprise a lot of people. He's going to be major for us this year. You
talked about playing with Malachi when you were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously played a lot with Jasper, had that Team Thad connection. Can we expect to see that on the court this year?
Definitely. We're going to surprise a lot of people again. Jasper, me and him, we were 10-2 in the EYBL while we were there. We were number 1 in the EYBL. Just really effective. He's a really good scorer, able to find people. And Malachi, you know, just competing against him, iron sharpens iron, just seeing kind of how that's been building. I'm excited to, once the season gets started, when I'm able to play, see what it looks like when we're on the court together. So it's going to be really exciting for sure.
Do you feel like you're a little bit closer with those guys? Because technically you would be a freshman now because you skipped a grade in high school. So do you feel like because you're the same age, you're a little bit closer with those guys? Yeah, I definitely started off with that connection and was a little closer with them. But again, everybody on this team has been making a conscious effort to get to know each other better and build as a team. And I feel like I'm getting to know everybody a little bit more the more we've been here.
Now you'll be turning 18 in a couple days, so first off, happy early birthday. And secondly, just playing the entirety of last season at age 17, obviously youngest player in college basketball. What do you think you took the most from that experience going up against, you know, grown men at such a young age, and what can you take from that freshman year to translate into this year once you're healthy?
For sure, just never being afraid of the moment, always being able to play to the level and not fearing any matchups. You know, I've been younger than everybody my whole career. I've always played up and got to go against a lot of older people who are on paper supposed to be more skilled, and going up against that challenge. So I feel like that's probably the biggest thing, playing with confidence and not being afraid of matchups.
We've seen a couple guys kind of do what you did, flag fears this past season.
Mm-hmm.
What was maybe the most difficult thing about being in college at 17 and skipping a grade of high school?
Weights was probably the biggest difference. I never really lifted weights. Even still there, I didn't lift it as much, so kind of adapting to that. But otherwise, on the court, I felt pretty comfortable because I did prep for all of high school, which was pretty enjoyable for me. But yeah, I feel like that's probably got to be the biggest change for me personally.
Jayden, obviously with the injury, you're not being able to do too much, but just kind of what have you been trying to work on this offseason to kind of prepare for when you do get that green light?
Just doing a lot of free throws, working on a lot of form stuff, get my shot a little bit more consistent, and focusing on learning the terminology, learning where to be on offense and defense, how to space the floor, what to look for in the offense. I feel like those are things that are going to be really helpful for me to flourish next year. Yeah.
And then obviously you're a defensive phenom yourself, but there's a lot of great defenders on this team. What's the capability that this team has when it comes to defense?
Oh, we have a chance to be great defensively this year. We have one of the biggest and longest teams in the country, and I feel like that's going to, kind of pop out in the games a lot. I feel like everybody's buying in, and we have people pressing full court. We have people in guys, people in help, and the way we rotate, I feel like we're going to surprise a lot of people defensively.
Is that something Pope has kind of gone in on, pressing and kind of making sure that you guys work on that?
Definitely. He's made a big onus on trying to fill in the gaps that were left last year defensively and try and improve and be better on that side of the ball.
What about your game defensively? What kind of skills? It seems like you've got a knack for blocking shots and everything like that. Talk about your game defensively.
Defensively, the biggest thing on defense for me has always been effort, trying to impact the game however possible, whether that's pressuring the ball, making people uncomfortable, being in passing lanes, trying to get steals that way, just doing whatever you can to make the offense uncomfortable. I feel like that's probably the biggest aspect of defense that I try and focus on.
Jayden, when you and Jasper were playing AAU together 2 years ago, did you all talk or visualize about maybe one day playing together in college or the next level above this or anything?
Yeah, definitely. We talk about it because we were so successful. We all kind of talked about it. It was really interesting. I met with him at USA when we did the camp for 18U. So I've been around him a lot, and that was definitely a point of conversation. Even this year, through social media and online, he was just talking to me, trying to get in my ear, talk about returning to Kentucky, and he was a big part of my decision to commit here as well.
Did you pay more attention to him when he was telling you something than maybe somebody else?
Maybe a little bit, but he was definitely one of the first guys to, reach out and try and get me out here. And so that was a big part of it for sure.
How good does it feel to be out here? Because I know initially a lot of people thought you were coming here out of high school and kind of took a detour, but how good does it feel to be here now?
It's definitely great to be back. It's a little different when I first committed, but I really trust in what Coach Pope has going here. I really trust in the guys that we have here, and I'm really excited for the things that we could do here. I think it's going to be a great time, and I'm really excited to see, what this run looks like. I really feel like we have a great chance to win number 9, and I'm super excited.
When you say what Coach Pope has going on here, what do you mean by that?
Just how he was able to transform the offense next year, scoring multiple 100-point games, play with speed, play with pace, and surprise so many people. There was a lot of questions about what it would look like with a new guy coming to run the program, and the first year he made it to the Sweet 16. That's really hard to do. So I trust that with him being able to recruit the way he wanted to this year and the team that he put together, that we have a chance to win it all.
What would you say were the biggest differences in navigating the recruiting process as a high schooler and then as a transfer?
I feel like just being in it makes it a little different, kind of having more film, being able to watch and see what works in college basketball. I feel like that was probably the biggest difference from college to high school.
You've probably been asked about your timetable, but I just got here. What's kind of your timetable with getting back to full health and all that kind of stuff?
Just continuing to trust the coaches, trust the people around me, trust the trainers to get me back to 100%, and whenever that is when they want to put me back on the court. So just continuing to trust them.
Is it feeling better? I mean, are you able to move around, do a little bit more each day? Or?
Yeah, every day is feeling better. Just trying to get back to feeling right, get back to 100% has been the main thing right now.
You've worked all your life to be a great athlete, and then you get hurt, and it's like a different foreign part of your body doesn't work. What is it like mentally and emotionally to deal with that? You can't do what you want to do or what you're used to being able to do right now.
Yeah, well, mentally, the way I've always been, I try not to dwell on things. I try to look to the future and look to where I'm able to improve and how I can be better. So I never really was too sad. It was always just, all right, what's the next move? How do I get better? What do I got to focus on to be the best version of myself and come back stronger than I was before?
Jay, do you ever stop and think about how young you are? That you could be playing high school sports here in Kentucky right now instead of being a sophomore here in Kentucky? Does that even go through your mind?
Not really, just because I've been playing it up against older people since I was 8. It's been my whole life playing basketball in school. I've always been with older people. I was always the youngest in the group, so it's kind of natural to me now.
What's kind of the bond like with you guys? Because you young guys, old guys, transfers. What's kind of that group bond like right now?
It's like a brotherhood, really. Like everybody's working. We're all, kind of buying in, get to know each other better. Competing and everything. That's been a big part of it. Just like lighthearted competing, things like that. Just trying to buy in and get to know each other better. It's been really fun so far.
And has anybody surprised you with their game? But maybe you didn't know them well before you got here.
Has anybody surprised me? Just the level of activity that BG plays would surprise me a lot. That was really interesting to see.
What about with Coach Pope? I know obviously it's one relationship when a coach is recruiting you and in meetings and offices and stuff, but having your perspective, watching him run practices so far this summer, what kind of jumps out to you about being in the gym when Coach Pope is leading things?
He's just so passionate about the game. It's just been a beautiful thing to see that he cares so much about seeing everybody get better and seeing the pieces fit together. That's been probably the thing that stuck out to me the most.
Jayden, what do you mean by Brandon's level of activity? Explain that for somebody like me.
Like he's been playing like really hard, making passes, just impacting every play. Like every play is getting touches, trying to get other people involved. Like he's been a very good kind of leader, having been here last year. And those are the things that stuck out to me the most about him.
Jayden, the TBT's right around the corner. Last year's team got to do a lot of things with them. What are you most looking forward to? Is there maybe a certain player that you're looking forward to kind of getting some knickknacks from?
The TBT, I haven't seen too much about that yet, but I'm excited to kind of be around that environment and just see what that looks like. It's going to be very interesting for sure.
Maybe get some pointers from Willie Cauley-Stein. He was one of the greatest defenders to come through here.
Nah, if I get the chance, definitely just kind of get in their ear, pick their brain, see what tips they have, having been to where I'm trying to go. That's going to be interesting for interview for sure. You're good.
Brandon talked about improving his passing like Amari did last year. Have you seen improvement? Well, of course you weren't here last year, but what's it been looking like in practice with Brandon being one of the bigs who can pass?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so far he's been showing off a lot of passing, being able to hit guys on back cuts, be patient, play off 2 feet, and make reads has been a really big thing that he's been working on in practice, and it's been showing so far.
Is that something you see yourself doing well?
Yeah, definitely. For sure, because we have so much space here. The coaches make it so basically it's a large focus on cutting, filling space, getting to the rim, trying to play that way with space. So I feel like I'm going to have a lot of opportunities to show off my passing game for sure.
What maybe has stuck out to you the most about Cam?
Just the physical tools that he has. He's a really good shooter, really athletic. He's able to get downhill, and I feel like he's going to be he's been a huge underdog so far, and I feel like he's going to be a huge part of what we have going this year. I feel like he's going to be a very large impact.
Is he physical enough to go up against somebody like you?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't practiced against him yet, but he's been looking good so far.
And then you talk about knowing Malachi from back in the day. How have you seen his game grow? And I mean, Cam was talking about how elite of a shot blocker he is. Sorry about that. Can you just talk about what you've seen from his game and how you've seen it grow from the younger days?
Well, I mean, he's grown in every aspect because, again, the first time I played against him was like 6th grade, so he's gotten more athletic, stronger, taller, more skilled. Like he's become a really great player. Again, McDonald's All-American, that's a really difficult thing to do. So I feel like he's been going to be a huge part of what we do this year, and it's been fun to see him grow.
Have you ever been a part of just such a deep team? It seems like everybody on this roster is going to get minutes or can get minutes. Mm-hmm. Is that crazy to be a part of such a deep team?
This is definitely the deepest team I've been a part of, and I'm really excited to see what we could do because everybody from 1 to 15 can make a really large impact on the game.
You probably answered this earlier, this is the second wave of people, but what was it like to suddenly get here and suddenly be swept up with a BBN?
I mean, the fan love here, even before I committed, was crazy. So getting to actually be in it and be in Lexington and see all the faces has been a great time. Just being in the community more, I've had a really great experience with it.
What has happened to you out in the community?
Nothing too crazy, a couple pictures, a couple autographs, but it's definitely a lot of love here for basketball, and that was probably one of the biggest aspects of why I decided to be a part of BBN.
Is there a favorite thing to do around Lexington for you?
Well, I'm in the house most of the time. I try not to do too much. Just focus on, getting my knee swelling down and everything. Just try and get back to 100%.
Is there a timetable for you yet?
No timetable yet. Just trusting in the coaches and all the trainers to try and get me back to 100% as soon as possible.
You called Brandon a leader there a few questions ago, and he talked about the role Amari played in developing him, being kind of a mentor for him, and how he hopes as a veteran he can kind of take on that mentorship role. As you're kind of learning this scheme, learning this team, not being able to go 100%, what kind of role has he played in mentoring you?
Just talking me through things, helping me learn the terminology, learn the plays, and leading through example, again, through the practices. Just watching how he relocates on offense and defense, how he's a big talker, just making sure everybody knows what's going on. It's been a really big part of my learning experience so far.
Were you sad you didn't get to do all that conditioning that they did early on?
Well, I mean, they're not sparing me. I'm gonna have to do it when I get back, sadly. So I'm not missing too much. I'm gonna enjoy it from the sidelines while I can.
One of your teammates, I can't remember who it was, told us that you've been on the sideline saying, "Nice shot, but that wouldn't be a bucket if I'm back out there."
Oh, I mean, I was leading in block shots for a while. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah, it's gonna be really fun when I get to be back on the court and just see what it's like to actually be there and compete against these guys. I'm really excited to see how it meshes together.
Did you have much chance last year to check out what UK was doing here?
I seen a little bit, but they were in a different conference, so we didn't get to watch too much film. We didn't watch too much film and see too much of what they were doing until after the season.
What did you hear about it?
I mean, multiple 100-point games, Sweet 16 team. They're a really good team last year, and their offensive scheme was really impressive. You hear a lot of good things about them last year for sure.
When did you first start considering coming here?
Well, it was really mostly after the season, after everything has settled down a little bit more, and when Coach Pope and Jasper and all those people reached out, just kind of seeing that I feel like how seriously that they felt that I could help make an impact and contribute to this team. I feel like that was when I started to look here a little more.
And then speaking of game film, is that something that you're really focusing on right now, making sure you learn the offense that way since you can't be really on the court right now?
Definitely, just watching what they did well last year, where I might have fallen short, and just how I can improve and how I could fit into their schemes on both sides of the ball.
Was there a player growing up, or maybe your first memory of Kentucky basketball that you can remember, like a guy that's in the league or out of the league that you've kind of watched?
Probably Karl Anthony Towns. He's a real versatile big, or Anthony Davis. I feel like he plays in a way that's pretty similar to me, really good defensively, plays with that level of physicality and intensity. I feel like I try and model after that, and then he's also to be able to be a force on the offensive side of the ball as well.
New coach was a pretty versatile big guy back in his playing days. Is that nice for you to play for a guy that's almost as tall as you are?
Yeah, it's very different, but I've been enjoying it. He's been able to, give me pointers, give me tips, and he's been there and done that. So that is always good knowledge, and he knows so much about the game. It's been really interesting to pick his brain and talk to him about what he feels that I need to work on and how I can improve my game.
How much of a selling point was that, if it was at all, just the fact that your coach, Coach Pope now, is a guy who played at Kentucky, won a national championship, played in the league, has a lot of the experiences that you're hoping to have in your college career?
For sure. I always enjoy playing with player coaches because they're able to kind of understand and empathize with what they're doing, and they're able to know what it's like through their eyes, what they're trying to do. So I always enjoy it. Playing under player coaches. I played under a player coach last year, and I feel like it's going to be really fun this year for sure.
Your game, I watched some of your Arizona State game. You can step out and shoot the three too. How much of a draw is that Pope basically gives everybody a green light to shoot if they're open?
For sure. I mean, the ball moves so much. There's so much energy on the ball when things get in motion, and there's a lot of swing passes and things going on that way. So I feel like I'm going to be able to show off a little bit more of my shooting and passing. I feel like that's going to be a very big part of how I progress this year for sure.
What were those first conversations with Coach Pope like, and were you prepared for that level of energy that he brings to the table all the time?
Yeah, for sure. He's very passionate whenever he talks about basketball. It's been cool to kind of, It's been cool to kind of lean off that and see from his eyes what he sees about me through the game. So it's been interesting so far.
Any surprises?
Any surprises? Not yet. We're still early in the summer though, so we're going to see. He might have some stuff. Once I get back on the court, that'll surprise me a little bit more. But it's been pretty straightforward, and I've been enjoying the process.
Were you able to learn much having to be on the sideline? I mean, you almost through the eyes of a coach.
Yeah,
the fact
definitely.
that you have to observe in a different way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been watching film and doing things that way, so that's been another way that I've been learning. But watching from the sideline, just seeing what guys are doing, just visually, I feel like that's really helped me memorize some of the things, and being able to picture what I'll be able to do or where I'll be at during those sets has been very helpful and impactful for me.
Like mental reps, that kind of thing?
Exactly.
The schedule this year is one of the best that I can remember in a long time. Are there any games in particular, like, oh, I'm looking forward to this game, can't wait to this game, kind of thing?
Well, Louisville, I'm really excited for the energy that's going to be in that game. That's always a fun one. And all the fans look forward to it, so I'm looking forward to that game for sure. Other than that, Florida, they got us last year, so that's going to be a fun one again.
Obviously, you described him right there. It sounds like you.
Those are the first two that come to mind when I think of games I'm looking forward to.
Kind of showing them the ropes.